Hello everyone, I'm happy to have my older brother Ashok with us again today. This is the second video explaining his RFM RootFeast methodology. Just to recap, this methodology is a low-cost way of growing trees, fruit trees, with very little water, less than drip irrigation, even in poor soil. Today he's going to explain to us who will benefit and what sort of land can this work on in India. So let's listen to him. Over to you, Ashok.
From the beginning, I have designed this creation of mine to work everywhere in the world. My aim was always to reforest the whole world. So I had to devise a contraption or a creation that will work across the whole world. And in practice, I'm seeing that yes, it can actually work across the whole world. The areas I have not seriously examined and I don't have an answer is the Himalayan range. The Compared to rest of the world, Himalayan range consists of loose boulders, rocks that slide, and I don't know of any trees that can penetrate the rock and prevent it from sliding. We hear that construction is causing disasters in Himalayan range, etc., etc. But the real one part of the problem is that the rocks and the mountains of Himalayas are inherently unstable. And the type of trees that are growing in Himalaya, pine, essentially is rich with oil and it catches fire quite easily. So let's forget Himalayas. But if you are talking about, say, deserts of California or Saudi Arabia or Sahara Desert in Africa or the Thar Desert in Rajasthan, or you are talking of Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, Deccan Plateau, you are talking about fertile land or less than fertile land in Gangetic Plains, or you are talking about rocky soil or limestone rich deposits in Chhattisgarh and other such areas, or red laterite soil in Goa or in Karnataka, the methodology will grow you a forest. There is no question in my mind that this will happen. It may be that if you are growing a forest in Chhattisgarh, the growth of trees will be slower than if you are growing it in, say, Madhya Pradesh, where there is more water and there is loam or soil in the ground. Okay, this is a decision which the tree can't change. The nutrients that are deep down will determine its growth. The final height it will reach, the girth it will reach, but the forest will grow. So I'm clearly asserting that root feast methodology will work across the whole world. I have looked at whether we can grow in the alpine mountains in Spain where there is salt water coming in from the Mediterranean. You can't get things worse than that. In such areas also, root feast will grow. But who will take benefit of it? Clearly, the private sector interested in growing horticulture trees, which they can sell at a good price, the fruits of it at a good price, will be the first sector to take advantage of root feast. The forest department and to mitigate climate change will be a very slow follower. That's because of the nature of society. It has nothing to do with the nature of technology. Okay. Now, what I am trying to do is that first introduce it in those areas where the land is such that nothing grows or barely a crop of millet or pulses grows once a year, and the farmer's income from such land is not more than 50,000 rupees a year.
Okay, so
Properly,
you are taking on the challenging part. You are not going to the easy part where things grow.
the problem is with this, where things are easy to grow, the farmer will not even listen to the root fish technology. Because he says, all my life, I have lived a comfortable life, growing rice or growing this or that. And why should I change? You show me a comparative study, whereas a person who is living in a poverty of 50,000 rupees a year income will just look at one demonstration in one fourth of an acre and jump at it in the next year because he has nothing to lose.
Okay, so let's start from the small. Let us say let's talk first from household and then to communal things like hostels, etc., and then to farms. Okay, let's go in that
Okay,
process. So let's
okay.
look at what can work for a household. Now, well, in the big cities, people all live in flats, so they can't take this, right? But people who live in smaller towns where there's still some land, can they use it?
Let us say in most cities, there are laws which stipulate a distance between the boundary wall and the start of the house. It's a 10 feet distance, 12 feet distance, 14 feet distance. But so let us say there is a boundary wall, and next to the boundary wall is open land. It's not covered with a concrete barrier. So if you are looking to plant 5 trees, so you have a 30 feet long boundary and you want to plant 5 trees. Very easily, you can plant these 5 trees, and these 5 trees can be 3 types of fruit trees. So you have 2 guavas, one chiku, one pomegranate, etc. Okay, this is enough. On the third year, you will start getting your fruits. First year, you may get something like 80 to 100 fruits in a whole year from each tree. And from fourth year onwards, you will get slightly more.
Okay.
So it is a very viable way to get fruits. 300, 400 fruits a year from 5 trees is a good amount of good food, nutrient going into the family's health.
And
So as little as 30 feet.
And will we
If
be
you,
making a video which shows families how to do this?
we will be making a video showing how these families do it, but at a later date.
Okay, fine.
I will make a general video which shows how to plant a fruit tree.
Okay,
Okay.
right. And then how
And
to maintain it also over the years.
yes, yes, both parts. Because fruit trees require something different, an additional input.
Yes.
So we will talk about that in detail.
Okay, fine. All right. So what you're saying is that families with small pieces of land can have 1 to 5 trees, which will continue to give them fruit for years to come.
For years to come, and fruits, the trees, if you grow the trees with RootFeast methodology, the height of the tree will not be too high, and you will be able to pluck the fruit with just the housewife or the children plucking it.
Okay, I think that's a
They,
very
they,
important point because people think if I plant mango, the fruit is high above, who's going to climb? But what you're saying is under your methodology, the fruit will be easily pluckable.
yes, we are trying to divert the water that the fruit tree is taking as far as possible directly into the fruit.
Okay.
We we regard all leaves as thieves who steal water. So the fruit tree will be trimmed to have the least number of branches and have the least number of leaves.
Okay, very good. All right. Family is done. Let's move on to communal places like hostel or hotel, or
See,
whatever place there where there's some land.
if there is land and the person at the top is interested, because in such organizations, if this doesn't have the approval of the top man, the trees will get uprooted whenever the person in authority takes a whimsical decision.
Okay.
Because there is, in such organization, though there is land, uh, there is centralization of power in general. So if the person says, okay, go ahead, plant trees, they can be planted. If the man takes offense, ki, no, this is a hospital or this is a educational institute and not a place to grow fruits, then it won't happen.
Okay.
Availability of land is not the only thing. The motivation of the controlling person is also very important.
Okay. So you have to
For
first.
example,
Yeah, go ahead.
for example, at an educational institute, more than 100 trees have been planted all along the boundary line, and they are growing. And in the third year, they will start giving fruit. But this is happening because the person at the top says, okay, you are growing fruit trees. They are good for the environment. I will let them grow. If they die, I will let them die. As long as you don't bother me for resources, it's fine.
Okay.
Let's move to a more interesting idea.
Okay.
Women self help groups are being formed across the rural communities. They work. They only need an NGO worker, an activist to bring the ladies together, and a market to sell. So, if each self-help group worker, there is a place to grow 5 to 10 trees, and there are more than 10 to 20 people in the self-help group. This is the large enough size to sell in an organized way to the fruit trader,
Okay.
or even or even set up a direct selling unit in the city.
Okay.
Supposing they are growing 3 types of fruit, then 3 times in a year they will have things to sell.
Okay.
They can directly tie up with the shop and sell their produce there.
Okay.
It won't get branded, it won't come in packets which display their name, etc. But very clearly, self help groups can work, because then there is a person who will protect the tree in the younger age, will ensure that cows and goats don't come and eat it, and nobody kicks at the growing sapling, nobody puts a stone on it, etc., etc.
Okay. So let's say
So,
again, what kind of fruits can these self-help groups grow? I know you mentioned it, but let's have it again. What kind of fruits?
see, let us say the best and the simplest way for the weak and the startups is to cater to existing market.
Okay.
For instance, say in Pune, we know avocado can be grown. Okay, an avocado imported from USA is selling in supermarkets. But if you are a self-help group growing avocado in Pune, you are going to get into trouble. There is nobody who is going to guide you if some pests attack it. You will never be able to get proper saplings. So, if you are a self help group, look around what is being sold in the market. There are some 5, 7 fruits which are commonly everywhere sold. Guava is one. It's called Amrut, Peru. Local names are there, but it is available. And
Yes.
it's a very good choice to make.
Okay.
Okay, mangoes are a good choice to make. There are hundreds of varieties of mangoes, actually, thousands of varieties of mangoes. And you can choose those which have middle to high end prices,
Yeah.
because there is no difficulty in growing high-end mangoes also with RootFeast technology.
Okay.
The technology allows the tree will grow, and once the tree is going, you are going to get fruits out of it.
Okay. But
Okay.
I remember that you
Okay.
cannot grow bananas with this, right?
Banana is not a tree. Though technically, in everyday talk, we say this is a banana tree. It doesn't have a trunk. It has no rings. So technically, banana is not a tree. Papaya is not a tree. Coconut is a different sort of tree, not the usual type of tree. So four things are well identified. Bamboos can't be grown. It's not a fruit, but it can't be grown by root feast.
Okay. So these are the
Bananas can't
main.
be grown.
So the main fruits that you can't grow is basically banana and papaya. Okay. Most things that people in India eat, oranges can be grown like this, right?
Yeah, oranges, lime,
Yeah.
sitaphal,
Yeah.
um, chiku,
Yeah.
mangoes,
Yeah. Okay. It's good.
anar or
It's a good
pomegranate.
start. Okay. Let's go beyond the women self-help groups, maybe to farmhouses or to farmers who have barren land.
Let us take the next step.
Yeah.
I have 1 hectare of land, 2.5 acres. Still, many land holdings. Most land holdings uh, are less than 1 acre, but up to 2.5 acres is quite common land holdings. And supposing I have this 2.5 acres of land, how should I start root feast in this?
Hmm.
I'm earning nothing. 1 lakh from this all 2.5 lakh, 2.5 acres of land. 1 lakh is per year is all my earnings. And I want to grow fruit. I'm interested. I will say take only 1/4 of an acre in which about 200 trees, at least fruit trees, can be planted. You can plant up to 250 trees or 200 trees.
Hmm.
This is a high density plantation, not your conventional.
Okay.
Okay. But it is very much feasible.
Okay. And what's
So
the
we say,
cost? What's the cost?
I'm coming to cost. First, let us look at what to do.
Okay.
So 200 to 250 fruit trees you are going to grow in 1/4 of an acre. Okay. And you should think of you growing 5 to 6 varieties of fruits in this. So either 50 fruit trees of one variety or 40 fruit trees, etc. And look for different nurseries and get different varieties of same fruit so that they come into season at slightly different times and you are having a long spread over uh, plucking season
Okay.
when your income is being generated. Spread
Okay.
it over
Yeah.
because you will find it difficult to get labor for plucking. So if you are spreading it over a time, you are giving somebody a longer employment and
Yeah.
people will come for longer employment
Okay.
rather than for a short 1 month or 2 months period.
Right.
Okay. Uh, and this is what I would do. That I would plant only 1/4 of an acre and put in 200 to 250 trees.
Okay. And
After 2 years, when I see the trees have grown and if I have planted some amount of guava, which starts giving me fruit at the end of 8th month, I have a way of starting to earn. Okay. This, let us say 40 guava trees I have planted, and each of them is giving me 20 kgs of fruit.
yeah.
Okay. So I have 800 kgs of fruit. 40 trees, 20 kgs each. So I have 800 kgs of fruit. And if it sells at 25 rupees ex farm price, okay, I have a good deal of money, more than what I was getting from the whole acre of land which was otherwise barren.
Hmm.
So I have utilized only one fourth, and I am only talking about
Okay.
1/5 of that.
Right. No,
So
okay, the benefits are clear. Now there are two questions. One, what is the upfront cost? And number two, in
okay,
case there is any trouble, whom can they ask for help?
uh, let us say what is the upfront cost is a question which no economist can answer because there is no way to value land,
No, not the cost
especially
of
in
the land.
India. No, no. So if you exclude the cost of the land, you are excluding the most of the costs. Okay. Let us say we are going to dig a hole 4 inches by 18 inches deep, 4 inches wide, 18 inches deep. If it's to be done by an auger in soft soil, red laterite soil or black soil or near black soil, loamy soil, the cost is nothing. The auger costs 25,000 rupees to buy, petrol driven. You can get it on rent. And in one day, 400 holes can be made. So your entire 1 acre can be finished in 2 days' time of rent. So let us say 2,000 rupees is the cost of drilling holes. Okay. Then per fruit tree, you need 500 grams of uh, vermicompost and 100 grams of ash, because potassium is provided by ash, and potassium is the most important nutrient to be given. Nitrogen and others are not so important for a fruit tree by root feast method. And we give only organic fertilizer. My recommendation. If somebody wants to give inorganic fertilizer, he can figure out, or he can look at Punjab Agriculture University norms and reduce the inorganic fertilizer by a factor of 10. Because we are supplying directly to the roots, and inorganic fertilizer applied to the roots directly will burn the roots. So you need to reduce the quantity of inorganic fertilizer by a factor of 10, or just give dissolved vermicompost and dissolved ash. Let us say roughly 5 rupees of vermicompost per tree and roughly 1 rupee of potash.
Okay.
So you have a 6 rupee cost of the initial dose of fertilizer, and repeat it for 3 years before the fruit tree comes. So 18 rupees or so is your initial input cost, which is not being compensated by any fruit trees, by any fruit. Uh, in Maharashtra, where I know there is a big racket of supplying water by tankers, and the going rate is rupees 2,000 for a 5,000 liter of water. It is not RO cured, it is ordinary water, but that's water. 40 paisa per liter. We are talking about 9 liters in the first year and 30 liters in subsequent years. So let's concentrate on the third year when fruits will come. 30 liters of water at 40 paisa per liter is 12 rupees.
So it's nothing.
And the fruit tree is giving you 20 kgs at 40, 20 kgs at 35 rupees. So 700 rupees is your fruit value, and 12 rupees plus 16 rupees is your fertilizer cost.
Okay. So it's very
There is
workable.
virtually no,
Okay.
no. There is one more cost which people have to worry about. If the land is not fenced, and majority of people will not have fenced land, then in 80 rupees you can buy a bamboo based tree guard.
Okay.
And that tree guard is good for first 3 years, after which the tree will have reached a height where animals won't come and attack it.
So,
Okay. So costs are up. You've taken all the costs, pesticides to be sprayed, there is no weedicide to be sprayed, 50 rupees per tree.
okay.
Um, Maintenance costs. Initial starting cost is about, including cost of sapling, hole, water, all that is about 80 to 120 rupees.
Okay. So it's very cheap.
Okay. It is very cheap because we are taking advantage of a funny factor. Most orchards plant trees wide and they allow the trees to grow very tall because the soil provides enough nutrients for the roots to spread 20 feet away from the tree. And the tree roots can go deep down and the trees reach heights. We are saying this is poor quality soil. And because it is poor quality soil, the tree roots won't spread far. So we can plant them 4 feet apart.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's good.
And
Now the question, Shami, is where can they get help?
at the moment, help is simply not available except from websites like this. Okay. They can get some help from going to buy a farm and come in person. But that's not an all India help. I am working with at least two large charitable organizations. One of them has planted 5 crore trees in India. Another is somewhere near 5 lakh trees. And we are going to train at about 30 centers people who can provide help, who can provide them help.
Okay.
This is still work in progress. Maybe by end of this year 2025 we will have these 30 sites where they can go for help. One excellent website is TANU, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, which gives details about how to do canopy management and what high density plantations are feasible.
Okay.
There is also an excellent book by an Indian agricultural officer, senior, on canopy management, from which lot can be learned.
And
It's
all
one
this will
book.
be on your website, right? We are going to have a
This
website.
I will provide links.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
the book is available free of cost. You can download the
No, but
entire PDF.
yeah, but
Odisha government,
your website will have all these links.
yes, the website will have all the links.
Okay,
So
wonderful.
essentially, help will come in person a year later, but from the web, uh, 3 months later.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So I think we have covered the issues today rather well that look, this is widely workable in India, and even small and large all can cover. And the potential is enormous, and the fruit trees are definitely cost effective. And the whole point is now to get moving. And hopefully, we will have these your website up so that people can see it, and this help will be available. And hopefully, it will become an exponential movement to help poor people make money and also be
Yes,
green at the same time.
yes. And organic, we are not at all advocating use of any inorganic fertilizer, which
Yes,
is a huge improvement in soil.
yes.
And at the same time, the intermingling crops are nitrogen fixing, which will enrich the soil.
Okay. Let's keep
Okay.
this for the next video. I think we have said enough today. So, last comments, last words from you for this video. We will cover more in the next one.
I will say this is a real solution to a real problem, and people should try it out with planting 5, 10 trees. Start. And let me say that one set of people I taught how to plant these trees, and they planted two sets of them. One set they planted at a site 60 kilometers from where they stay normally. And after planting, they used big bottles, 2 liter size bottles, which contain enough water for 6 months. They forgot all about it because they live 60 kilometers away. And for 1.5 years, nobody bothered. The trees got just water for 6 months. At the end of 6 months, nobody remembered. These people invited me to address them at the new site where they had planted the 30 trees. And we met and talked for 2 hours. And still none of them remembered that they had planted 30 trees. When we said, let's walk around the campus and see, we came to these 30 trees all thriving and growing.
Okay.
Some of them have grown over 9 feet. So the root feast method is very robust.
Okay. So we'll
With
see.
nobody watering it,
Yeah, we'll see more
so
details in the next video where you will show the photographs and you will explain in detail how to actually grow, right? So we'll leave it for that
correct.
video. So let's end it here today on this very optimistic note that it's a workable solution for all kinds of people at a very low cost, organic too. And India badly needs more fruit as incomes rise. We are importing from other countries many of the fruits, but a lot of them we can actually grow here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Good. Let's end it
Looking
here.
forward for
Yeah.
next.
The next one. Okay. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We'll be back soon with the next video.